We are here. We had a little delay, a little technical delay. Um, I'm not going to say because of Mercury retrograde, just some other things going on. And all of you are probably wondering why I got shades on. Well, I've been detoxing, and apparently Herkimer effects kicked in faster than what I expected, according to my sister. We're using a special herb we like to use called Essiac, and I kind of look like I slept with a reptilian. No, not really, but something happened. Anyway, I'm here. I was supposed to be on at 5 o'clock, of course, and this show would run until 7. But since I'm on now, it's going to flow a little slower. So let me just let people know that I'm here, and we're going to maybe keep it to about an hour because it's about 5:26 right now, and I might take it to 7 o'clock, which is actually 6:30. Well, yeah, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, which would be 9 Eastern for people. I'm on right now at 5:26 p.m., which makes it 6:26 p.m. 6:26 p.m. Central Time, or 4:26 p.m. Pacific Time right now, and 7:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to go log into Facebook and let everybody know that I made it. It's, as you know, electronics is something that we all have to play with sometimes, and there's always a lot of activity going on with all of this. So I'm going to let people know that I'm in here. Uh, I'll just say on now. Now live. And this is a Circle of Grace 1 with myself, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. And there's always a lot of activity. But one of the things I wanted to continue with is the program I did, because you know, all of you know, I'm doing 30-minute shows just about every Wednesday at about 4 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 6 p.m. Eastern, on Blog Talk Radio on my channel, The Age of Remembrance. And what happens is I was on doing a show yesterday, and it was a continuation of the show Awareness and Remembrance. And I was giving an exercise out. So what I'm doing right now is actually going to continue giving that meditation exercise out, and it's really just about linking with your partner, linking with yourself, and in order to do that, you have to know just how all of these things that we have, things meaning skills or chakras, how all of these are really a part of us, and how we can use them to make ourselves better no matter what's going on. And we know life has a lot of pitfalls, has a lot of ups and downs, but we can make it happen. And so as I send this out, let me give everybody a heads up here so they know how to tune in. What we want to be able to do is just realize that we could move a lot faster if we work on ourselves a little more. And so the more we work on ourselves, the better we shall be. And we already know that we have this strong vibration with ourselves, where it's all about freeing ourselves up for the work that we're about to do on the planet and the work that we continue to do on the planet. You see me with my head down. I'm releasing this right now, and we'll let people know that I'm just going to be here maybe for about an hour. I'm going to make sure people get this information, but the reality of doing 2 shows a week can be overwhelming, but one is a radio show, and that's every Wednesday, and then this live video stream. Now, the unique factor with the live video stream is I can come on just about any time and release a message, daytime, evening, and I'm still going to do some random broadcasting, which means come on in the middle of the night when the house is totally asleep, and where I can come on and release some further information. And on the internet radio, because that's a completely different account, well, as long as I'm in the system between midnight and about, I believe, 6 p.m. Eastern or 6:30 p.m. Eastern, as long as I get my show in before 6:30 p.m., I could get this information out for 30 minutes. I'm looking for another platform, an additional platform, in which I'm going to hold some live webinars. So, you'll be getting information all the time, and some of those webinars will be a fee in order to watch them, in order to get the information. But here's the best part about it. You'll still be getting information, and I'm going to put it so it's in reach. A lot of people are putting out information to a lot of people, and it has value, and you can course just like going to university. But now's the time to put this information out to people that I have as well, that will assist you to feel and know that you are elevating and moving to a greater height. So before I do anything else, let me put forth this prayer. Through divine power and by divine grace, know that all the information that you receive here is seeded thoughts into the universe that are being planted on your behalf, my behalf, and the greater universe behalf. This is an opportunity to, as I say, to receive, to embrace, and then also it helps ignite the energy that's inside of you so that you can move forward and do the things that you're here to do at the same time. May what you hear here, may you be able to gather it into your heart and let it ignite you. Let it enliven your spirit, and let it cause you to remember who you really are, why you are here, and at this moment, at this time in your life, and let it move you, catapult you to even greater things in your life. Amen, and so shall it be, and so it is. So what I want to just touch upon in this first segment of this show is the fact that awareness and remembrance are two very important keys. In fact, all day long, that's what you're doing. You're remembering things to present words, information about yourself, about your goals, your ideals, things that you share with other people. And we're doing that all the time, so we're using ourselves to remember. We're this huge vat of infinite information. We're this huge computer of infinite information. And at the same time, we have to be aware of who we're talking to, why we're talking, why we explain what we're explaining, what is our environment like, when we're putting out this information to other people. Are people in the right frame of mind to receive it? Well, even when it just gets down to two people, you and your best friend, you and your partner, business partner, romantic partner, marital partner, parents, children, siblings, what do you all remember about each other that stands out? What are you aware of that each other does, either for themselves to bring greater happiness for themselves, or to add to the pie, to bring greater happiness and peace and harmony into the life with them and with you being involved? And so awareness and remembrance is really these qualities and these attributes that we have and these tools that we have that allow us to smooth out our lives. Not to make the life any more difficult than what it is, but to smooth it out. So here's the key. If you are by yourself at this moment, meaning that you don't have a partner in which to do this with, all you have to remember is this, is that the first level of joy that you could bring into your life is with yourself. That's the first level of joy, is with you. So that means you're going to make sure that you are partnering up with a divine force inside yourself so that it can evolve you. And then it is your hope, your dream, your vision, your goal that your partner is able to do the same thing for his or herself. So that when you come together, you're meeting basically like on the equal playing field, the common denominator of joy, love, and harmony, peace, understanding, overstanding, as some people like to say today. Getting yourself in the position to see the whole thing at once. So, with that said, and let's say that your partner really is, and many people have those partnerships where they are like this, they are really on the same page. And that's a blessing. Then there are others that used to be on the same page, and now they're falling away from each other because they're no longer on the same page. So this technique works for that person who doesn't have a relationship, who's single, or that person who just came out of a relationship, be it a separation or a divorce or just breaking off, or one who's already involved, or one who's looking to reunite with their mate or the person in their life. So all you have to remember is you have a heart chakra that's even with your physical heart. In either one of your hands. Now, when you do this by yourself, you must use your receptive hand. Your receptive hand, which we call a subdominant hand in palmistry or handwriting analysis. So, the hand that you write with is your dominant hand, your outgoing vibration hand. Be it you're a person who writes left-handed or right-handed. If you're a left-handed person, then your left hand is going to be held palm up so that you can receive when you're doing this as a solo work effort. And if your other right hand is not the hand that you don't write with, that becomes your subdominant hand. Or we might say your magnetic hand for you. And that will be placed right in the center of your sternum, and your other fingers, as you notice, will touch over there in the region where your heart, physical heart, is. Now that you have that, so that means if you're right-handed, your left hand, subdominant hand, would go on to your sternum, and you want to make sure that your thumb could be right where that physical heart would be, just slightly to the left. You put your palm there, and your right palm would be up. This is if you're doing it by yourself. So if you're single, pick the hand which works for you. I'm single, but I'm right-handed, so my dominant hand is going to be palm up, and my left hand is going to be in the middle of my sternum. Now, what you want to do is you want to go within yourself. If you're the single person, you're going to ask yourself, today, what do I remember about myself? And as you do that, I want you to breathe deeply. Now, you can put white light around yourself. You can use a violet flame light, or no light at all. You just understand that the light is already present. The minute you think it, it's there. Just go within yourself. Now, you're using your hand over your heart, in your middle of your sternum. It's almost like a thermometer. Why? Because you're going to feel some response. And how do you know that response? You might feel some energetic warmness coming up through your body into your hand. You might also feel the muscles, the pectoral muscles, kind of tighten or loosen. You're going to feel the muscles in your own fingers and palms go through something. You're going to get a signal. Your whole body's going to give you a signal. Now, if you want, you can bring your hand a little away from your heart chakra region, because that's where it is. It's within that space. If you put your thumb in the middle of your sternum, where your middle finger falls, wherever the center of your palm is, that's the space where you're catching this energy anyway for the heart center. See, you're placing the other palm up. Now, it doesn't have to be high up. It doesn't have to be over your head. It could be on a table or in front of you, on your lap. And you're going to now, as you ask yourself that question, the energy is coming into you. That's why you have the palm up. It's coming into your hand. Now, some people say, well, what if I put my palm up that way? If you want to put your palm up with your fingers up, you can do it. But I was directed to do it this way. And I was directed through my higher self to keep the palm up. Why? Because it's sort of like the higher self entity around you and all of your ancestors want to lay their hand in your hand. They don't want to give you a high five. They want to lay their hand in your hand. So this is why the hand is palm up. And you ask yourself that question again. What do I remember about myself? Now you could put, what goodness do I remember about myself? That's good about me. What do I remember about myself that leads me to understanding peace and harmony and happiness and joy? What do I remember about myself related to talents and skills and gifts that I have? And what's going to happen if you pause for at least 3 seconds, 3 to 4 seconds, between the question and you just being silent and then receiving it? You about have almost 10 seconds by that time. But as you receive that information, you'll receive it energetically. And if you want to use what I call energetic palmistry, here's another thing to add, which is, this is hip. Each one of your fingers on both hands represent something. Now, your right hand and your left hand, they're the mirror opposite of each other. So the thumbs represent in palmistry the will. Your authority finger, your finger that gives you the power to direct something or call something in, is your index finger. So that's the Jupiter finger. And then the Saturn finger people use to flip another person off with, that's your authority, your governing finger. Alright, that's the Saturn finger. That's your middle finger here. That's this finger. This is your Jupiter finger. This one here, the next one is your Saturn finger. This one here is your Sun finger. And this is actually the one in palmistry that connects with the heart chakra. Alright, so when we put our finger in the middle of your palm, it's more in line with that. It appears to be in line with that Saturn finger. It comes between the two, but it's actually, if you were to push it, you can vibrate it a little bit. You're not going to feel it so much in your middle finger. You're going to feel it more on the ring finger. And then you have the Mercury finger, your communication finger. And usually in palmistry, if a person's pinky is out to the side, it means that this person chooses to receive information in a solo manner as opposed with a group. I mean, they'll seek their own information as opposed to seeking it with others. So, if you can imagine what all of that is, and these are the different mounts, the mounts of the moon and the mounts of Venus, then what kind of happens is this. You have that palm over your heart chakra or out in front of it. And as you receive information, you start receiving information through one of those fingers or all of the fingers. So if you take your time like Tai Chi and move them very slowly, you might notice that certain information feels like it's coming through one of those fingers. So then what happens is this, is that the information received in the body giving off a signal through your fingers, then is letting you know that maybe you need to work more with expansion. If you're feeling it come through your index finger, there's more of expansion that's needed in your life. If you're receiving it through your Saturn finger, it's telling you that you're dealing with some issues from the past. You're also dealing with ancient information and ancestral information, and it's also letting you know that you need to overcome some form of restrictions or limitations that are going on in your life. Okay, these two fingers together, if you're looking at the glyphs of numerology, you have the Saturn finger looks like an H, and the other finger is flipped around and it looks like a combination of a 2 and a 4 together, and it's really the flip or the mirror opposite of the other. So one is expansion, one is restriction, and then the solar finger, which is that ring finger and the heartline finger, that's one that showers more of the emotional energy onto you. And then you've got speed of the mind, agility of the mind, and the thumb is how strong your will is, or are you a flexible person or a strong-willed person. So just keep that in mind, that when you're asking yourself, you're asking internally, the higher self, what is it that I remember most about myself that represents these things? That's what you're really asking. And as you take your time and just feel what the answer could be, then you begin to realize that there's something very special happening to you, something very unique, because your body is responding. Now, the same thing happens if you have a pendulum. If you ever worked with a pendulum, you're not asking the pendulum anything. Your body is registering through the pendulum what you need to know. It's telling you what you need to pick up. The pendulum doesn't have a mind of its own because it's made into a certain thing. Now, yeah, there are some metals there, or because you might have a bronze, or you might have a copper one, you might have a silver one, you might have one made out of gold. Who knows? Made out of crystals. Vibration is you. You're the messenger. So you're the vessel in which all this energy is going to flow into the pendulum anyway. And so, when you use a pendulum, you see it swing. You program yourself to see it go north and south, which is yes, and east and west, which is no. Why? Because when you're talking to people, you say yes, you're nodding your head up and down for yes. You're not going this way. When you go this way, you're saying no. So that pendulum should mimic the movement of your own head for the most part. So again, you're receiving this information. Once you get the information about what you remember, then excuse me, I'm kind of almost destroying my studio. Take it into what you are aware of. Now, remembrance and awareness are in the same category, because from remembrance, you have to bring all these bits and pieces of information back into yourself, because they all at some point connect. And then when you say I am aware of something, that means you are either aware of what you currently have around you that's going on, or you're aware of something that's happening around you, or you are aware of something that is about to happen or could happen. So there's so many angles, you see, lines of energy and information that are coming to you, and what you're doing is paying attention. You're teaching yourself to pay attention. So if you are using this technique of awareness and remembrance, it's going to teach you to do what? To go within to receive information. It's going to, if you're with a partner, say you have a business partner, and you and the business partner have some issues, you are at odds with each other, and you just can't seem to find the balancing point. Well, before you break off, and if you two aren't at this volatile stage of your business partnership, you could actually use this with each other. And what does it really do when you use awareness and remembrance? Well, what it actually does, it actually allows you to understand that none of us are perfect Peters, as I say, or perfect Paul, or perfect Pauline. None of us are that. Why? Because we're all going to have some shortcomings, some faults. We're going to have some weak points about ourselves. Yes, we're going to have some strengths. We're going to have some errors that we have made in our life. We're going to have some lessons that we can't seem to overcome. Hurdles. They become hurdles and obstacles. We begin to come. We get to the point where we're swimming in them, we're drowning in them. So, understanding that none of us are perfect, that means at some point you're going to be on the same page with the person in front of you. So, if you were to do this with a partner, as I'm saying, doing it with yourself, you could really bring the energy up and feel it within yourself. Feel it in your hand. Feel it run through your body. In fact, it comes up your heart and runs through and comes out the other side. You can feel this energy. The more you do it, the more sensitive you become to your personal energy and what's going on around you when you do it for yourself. Now, when you do this with somebody else, of course, you both will use your right hands as the dominant hand. You're going to use your left hand as the incoming hand. So you're going to kind of gently touch the other person's hand, like a handshake. And you're going to take, each of you will take your right palm and place it on the other person's sternum right there in the middle of the sternum. And You will take turns. So each one will ask themselves, what is it that they remember about you? And what you're asking for is not the negative. We already know what the negative is. We already know what doesn't work, right? So you don't need to keep hopping on that. What you want to do is jump on that positive bandwagon. And so you want to get on that one and pull up out of your consciousness, out of your heart level. What is it that you remember about the person in front of you? That represents goodness, joy, happiness, peace, artistry, laughter, caring, security. Do they have it for themselves? And at some point, did they ever show it to you? Did they ever offer that to you? And you're going to receive that in your mind. Now, I've taught this to many other people where they can have a piece of paper and write down what they remember. And then you go to the other column or the other sheet of paper, and now you write down what you are currently aware of. What you ought to see is more of the goodness expanded into now. Or what you might detect that some of the goodness has somehow trickled down into the now. It's not moving like it used to. Then you let the other person do the same for you. What are they remembering about you? What's the most heartfelt thing that they know, followed by whatever else that they know about you that they remember? And what are they now aware of about you? Now you both can exchange. You can both read what you got back and forth. Now, hopefully what you want this to do is to do what? Is not only to raise your consciousness about the other person, your mate, your partner, but for you to become more loving, more gentle, more compassionate toward that special person in your life. Even if they have some shortcomings and you have some shortcomings, you both should be able to find those treasures there with each other. And of course, I didn't mention it earlier, but I can mention it now. It is highly important when you're doing this, even if you're doing it for yourself, is to get yourself into a state of neutrality, calmness, inner peace, to be centered. Because when you're in that state of calmness, that inner peace, you're in that area where everything feels just right. And it feels clear. So when you're feeling clear and you're feeling right and you are feeling okay, you're not feeling imbalanced, then the information that you receive is going to come to you clearly. The information that you're going to remember about that person is going to come into you clearly, and what you are aware of about that person, that also is going to come clearly into you. And then you're going to be able to articulate it to the person. If you're doing it for yourself, you're going to be able to articulate what you remember and what are you aware of. And anything that's missing that you know that can be incorporated, then what is easier for your partner to work on it. Why? Because they don't have this weight on them about what they couldn't do. They don't have this weight on you. Don't have this weight on yourself what you couldn't do. It's like you're starting all over. When you say what you remember and what you're aware of, you're actually starting all over, giving yourself that opportunity to start fresh. So this is what I wanted to bring to you. I wanted you to realize that you can start out fresh. And when you allow yourself to start out fresh, then you are allowing yourself to move forward. And this is essential. Now, if anybody is watching this, I'm in my studio form. If by any chance at the bottom of your screen you see a little commercial, they're all doing this now, whether they do this with YouTube, I notice too. You go to someone's channel, it doesn't happen on your own channel, but you go to someone's channel and you see a commercial running up there. Well, those commercials are what they call sponsors. Now, this is a free producer's account, so you're going to see that. Now, if you don't want to see the commercial running up there, there's a little X, I'm gonna point to. Uh, I'll point this way. Yeah, you're gonna see a little X right at that part of the commercial, or at the bottom, in the upper corner of the commercial, or at the bottom. You're going to see something that says skip ad or skip commercial, the little arrow, and if you click on it, the commercial will go away and it'll go right into the program. So this is, these are the little things you learn in this world of broadcasting. There's so many things. But getting back to this is an opportunity to go with the process of awakening. Now, I found a very interesting website. I'm always checking websites to uh, put out blogs in, or show my artwork, or do some video logging, as they call it. And I found one. Let's see if I can remember. It's called soundofheart.org. www.soundofheart.org. /, then you write in Galactic Free Press. Galactic Free Press. Now I'm on Facebook. You can private inbox me, and I think they have a Facebook page. It's probably called Galactic Free Press Facebook page, and it's free to be on this particular account. Of course, there's people all over the world, and there's people talking about all of the galactic information. But what I like about a lot of these websites, it allows you to share who you are. And nowadays, it's giving us more and more spiritual power to connect with people all over the world. And that's one of the blessings of the internet, is that you can connect with people all over the world. So you're allowing yourself this greater opportunity. And when you're allowing yourself this greater opportunity, this is just unique. So my take is, whether you're on Facebook and you're on some closed groups, I just started a closed group because my spiritual daddy, as I call him, Akhenaten, said it's time. It's time to put out more groups out, let people know that you've got these master levels of information also on another level to share and to help your students get out there. So I have the Circle of Grace 1 in the Age of Remembrance. That's a closed group, private group. I don't like to call it secret. I like to call it more of a closed group. And then I have Friends of Circle of Grace 1. Now they both go together. They're twin flames to each other. So the Friends of the Circle of Grace 1 was initially set up for anybody that I'm mentoring globally. And then the Circle of Grace in the Age of Remembrance is also putting you there as well. And the purpose for the Circle of Grace, for either one of them, this is what you can do. I've set it up so that as people come in, you can advertise yourself. Many people don't know what you do. I don't know what all my students do. Now, most of my students know some of the things I do. So you can come in here as it grows, and you could see. This is what I've come full circle to understand. All of us are born masters. All of us. Each and every one of us is a master. We don't have to wait till, like I did, to get in my 40s, realize I mastered a lot of things. Get in my 50s, 60s. I'm in my 60s, mid-60s, realize now I mastered a lot of things: numerology, palmistry, handwriting analysis, tarot, and much more. But I don't want people to go through life thinking they didn't master anything in their life. One of the things you can say you just about mastered is being human, being in this human earthship. Okay, so you know what this physical body is all about, and you're still working with it. But I'm going to say you're already a master. So the purpose of the Circle of Grace 1 in the Age of Remembrance broadcast is connected to this closed group at the same time, and anybody else would like to be a member. Now, It's also what it would be used for is for us to teach each other. Now, the only thing that I'm not teaching in there, because I'm new to it and it would be incorrect for me to teach it, is anything that deals with solar gazing. So I'm not teaching that because that's not my forte, okay? But if you want to know about the numerology, you want to know about, if you're into astrology, come on in. If you're about Reiki, talk about pranic healing. We want to use these two sites to send forth planetary transformation. In other words, we want to help heal the planet. Not just this one, but throughout the galaxy. We want to be able to release this information out to people because they're more than just us listening to these shows, whether we're on Blog Talk, YouTube, Ustream, uh, Utalk, whatever it is, there are other spiritual forces listening to this. And it's more like our higher selves waiting for us to mature into who we really are. So we're getting this opportunity to pull all these parts of ourselves back together. Native Americans and African Aboriginals and European Aboriginals, shamans, they call it soul retrieval. Your soul is all over the place. But we got to bring it all back into you so that you have a sense of wholeness. Same thing happens with people doing pranic healing, Reiki healing, you name it. It's about pulling all of these sources back together. Now, one of the things I'm going to start incorporating is the sound tuning forks. I've got a 128 hertz tuning fork here. I don't know if you're going to hear it. If it gets too loud, say no in the chat room. It's too loud. Okay. But I was gifted the other day. One of my neighbors around the corner, elders, had a clear quartz singing crystal bowl, and rarely used. So now I'm the owner of a root chakra, and I'm glad that I received the root chakra. Why? Because root chakra is part of the physical, and what we're looking to do is what? We are looking to not just manifest in the spirit, but materialize. Bring the thought down into the earth plane. So we want to materialize. And this is essential to our well-being. So we can materialize, then what? We can better able assist ourselves. We want to assist ourselves so that we can free ourselves. When we can free ourselves, then what? We help free the planet. We help not only help free the planet, what we would do is really free our own consciousness. And sometimes it's essential to know that perhaps you are already free. Have you ever thought that you are already free? Now, in this so-called man-made law, we may not appear to be free because there's so much that is going on. However, we are freer than what we think, and we are freer than what we are feeling and knowing. So imagine if you take this exercise of awareness and remembrance, you could quietly begin to realize that you are free. And if you're not feeling it right now, not experiencing right now, what's going to happen is that you're going to generate the energy for your freedom to materialize. This is why we got both words now, manifest and materialize. Do you know in the occult worlds they call it dematerialization? That means they know something is physically in front of them, now they're going to dematerialize it. They're going to make it disappear. So if something has disappeared, that means something can what? Appear. If something can disappear, then something can what? Appear. That's the key. The key is allowing ourselves to feel freer, to know that we are already free in the mind and free in the heart. And as we're like this, then we begin to live that. We begin to impress upon the subconscious. One of my friends has said it earlier today. He manifested basically two jobs. One he's already accepted, and now the second one giving him more money than the one he just accepted. Why? Because he impressed it upon his subconscious mind that he had the job, that he was qualified for the job. So if you can impress it upon your subconscious mind that you already have it, then most certainly what you're striving to do has already happened. I used to tell people when I was in something called a Moorish Science Temple that we are like kites in reverse. Our higher self is far ahead of us. We're on the string, this umbilical cord, this silver cord, being pulled through the maze. But one day, this angle that we're being pulled on is going to start to align itself. Instead of it being 45-degree angle or less, it's going to start to align itself. In other words, we're going to work at aligning ourselves to that higher part of ourselves to what is perpendicular. Perpendicular, right angle. Perpendicular. Earth plane, us, and the heavens. When we get to that point, and that's why I used to teach something called ISA Tai Chi. ISA is inner spiritual attunement. Because the attuning takes place on the inside. The sound that you hear takes place on the inside because your body's hollow enough, your bones are hollow enough, your teeth are hollow enough so that you can hear the sound of spirit coming through you. When you know that you can hear the sound and feel the sound of spirit, then you know in essence you are. You are the expression of the divine. When you realize that you are the expression of the divine, let me write this in here. You are the expression of the divine in you now. And have always been that. That's the beauty of it. You've already been this, you just somehow forgot. So somehow we forgot because sometimes we're being misled or pulled to the side or sidetracked. That's why meditation is important. That's why prayer is important. That's why knowing how to put in motion an affirmation is important. A decree is important. Why? Because as you put these things in motion, evolve it, go out into motion ahead of you, it has to come back to you. The universe is everything that's around you. It has to come back to you. Any thought you put out is going to come back. And if you know that you're putting it out with a lot of emotion, and your subconscious self and the universe are one and the same, your subconscious reflects the universe, so it's not paying attention to whether you got a good feeling or a bad feeling. It means a good set of emotions or a bad set of emotions. It's energy. And whichever energy has the heaviest weight, that's what gets dropped back to you. So if you walk around, I used to tell some of my students, and that I learned from my teachers, if you walk around with a nonchalant attitude, which is another way of saying you're not detaching yourself to the outcome. You're telling the universe that basically you're very happy. And if you receive something better than what you have now, you're going to be even happier, but you're happy now. You're in a state of gratitude now. People are talking about gratitude like it's the next invention. But you know, we had to be grateful from before. We had to be grateful from before in order to have what you have now. Even if you're not in a place where you're in your own house, but you can walk, you can drive, you can get on a bus, you can get on a plane, you can get on a train, you can talk to your neighbor. Have a good, healthy conversation with a neighbor or a child. Communicate with the cat or the dog in your house or around you. But you know you're in attunement, you're in alignment, and you're attuned to your vibration, which means you're on the same field where everything can be sent to you so that you can receive it. So if you have this nonchalant attitude, which means you're not taking on the weight of the world and you're not taking on your weight of worry and anxiety, you're just going like, if it happens, fine. If it doesn't happen, fine. Why? Why do we say if it doesn't happen, it's fine? Because we're not putting the weight on ourselves. So when you're not putting any weight on yourselves, then you have an opportunity to do what? You have this opportunity to make it work for you. You're not allowing anything to get in your way. Not even your ego to get in your way. Not even someone else's ego to get in your way. Not even someone else who's very sad, even though you might feel, okay, that sadness is weighing me down too, but you're not even letting that. That's energy as well. See, all this stuff is energy. God is energy. An intelligent form of energy. We are that same thing, intelligent form of energy. We just haven't allowed ourselves to come full circle to understand that we could actually manipulate some forces of energy to our advantage and make it work without violating the universe. That's another thing. We don't want to do anything that violates the universe. Why? Because it's like a table leg. If you have a table that's rectangular or square, let's make it a square table, and you destroy one leg, it's got to fall. So that's like a little parable unto itself, a little example. You know, you mess with one of the laws of the universe, the whole thing goes out of alignment. It doesn't stay in alignment too long. So we don't do anything that what disrupts the universe. Now the universe can disrupt itself naturally. It'll have an ebb and a flow and a stop and a go, or a slowing down and a speeding up. But it is always what? Growing itself, expanding itself, contracting and expanding. That's what it does. We do the same. We inhale, which is what? We expand, and then we contract the lungs to exhale. We do that naturally. We're constantly flashing our eyelids together. Open and close, open and close, open and close. Taking in information all the time. All these things are natural. Every last one of them is natural. It's a natural occurrence. It appears to be magical until you understand it, then you see it as being natural. These things do happen. They happen according to various cycles of events. But you're not caught up in the cycle of event, and you're not enslaved by the cycle of event once you know that you are this being. ING, begin. You are the being that's beginning to understand that you are a God in motion. You're a force of energy in motion. You have a divine intelligence, just like everything else on the planet, and you're no longer falling for the illusions that are on the planet. You're not falling for them. That means you're not letting anybody upset you anymore. You're allowing yourself to be happier in every moment. But you're not letting somebody steal your happiness either. You're not giving them the happiness. You're maintaining it and you're growing it. That's what it's about. Trying to maintain and trying to grow. Well, we are at 6:14. We started about 6:26, so let's say about 5:26, 5:30. We're coming up to 45 minutes. I'm going to see if I can stretch this out a little longer. If you have any questions and you're in the chat room, you could give me a question. In the meantime, for those who will be listening to this program later, what I do want to tell you, if you want to be in touch with me, you could always email me at IAM, the letters IAM, circle of grace with the number 1 at the end at yahoo.com. You can also use Gmail, iam.circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. I have a brand new Skype number which I've had since last year. I actually got it this year, and it's 505-349-4722. 505-349-4722 is my brand new Skype number, internet number. You call it, It has the same message. I'm in conference with angels and wise men at the moment, but at the sound of the tone, da 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 da. I also have another number that's connected here, which is a 505-717-4722, and that's sort of like the Magic Jack line. It is my prayer, meditational decree request line, and of course you could do that. You can call, leave a message. Usually gives out a 2-minute all-purpose decree that'll bless you in one way or another. If you listen to it, then you can leave your message. So you've got these different ways of contacting me, and shortly I'm going to be doing some. I'm going to try out another website to do some webinars on, and they're going to be very, very interesting to see how these webinars take place. And I'm going to keep them so that people can pay for it and make it accessible. Now, the webinar might, depending, the fee will depend on the length of the program. So let's say if it's a 45-minute show, I might do it instead of doing it $1 a minute, you might get it for half that price. Might give it to a little under half. You might get the segment for like $20, and then if I do an hour, then you could do 50 or 55. But we have some different ways that we can arrange these so that you can get the information nonetheless. Or I might have you come right here to Ustream to my other channels that I have set up here. So this is an opportunity to just let you know that I'm going to be out here giving out a lot of information, and sometimes the random calling. I was going to use YouTube, but that's a beta setup and it doesn't seem to work quite well yet. But I was going to broadcast live on YouTube, but it's not really working, so I'm back here at Ustream. But when I get these different platforms together, I'm going to let you know so that you will be able to participate. You can invite anyone you want to participate with you. So you know what that means. You can get a couple of people over at your home, and you all can watch this all from the presence of your home. You can have your cookies, your ice cream, your tea, and everybody taking the seminar with me together and watching me right here. And then just getting on, all you need is one person signing in, and everybody gets on and they just ask their questions. So this is going to be, a glorious time. We want to get as many people as possible, and some specialized classes will have up to about 10 people. Why? Because we want to make sure everybody gets the information. So if I just have 10 people on with me, then 10 people get the information. But what will be interesting is no one will be left out. I don't believe in leaving anybody out. No one left me out when I had the opportunity to learn it. So I'm not going to start that, where people are feeling left out or cut off. So, as we go a little further, now let's change the topic. There's something that is upon me right now, and it involves the healing work through art that I'm doing. And I want to just let other people know that if you have some artistic skills, you need to put them out there. It doesn't mean you got to push yourself into a gallery. Maybe you're not supposed to be in a gallery. Maybe you should have a private party. Those are things I'm setting up, private parties where people can come and view the art. They can buy the art. It's for sale. Those are the things that I'm planning in the very near future, so people can get the information. See, that is very important for people to receive. Now, you can receive with a fee, but nonetheless, receive. I'm not here to empty anybody's pockets. So I'm beginning to create some artwork, and some of these pieces may go up into the thousands. But guess what? If you got 1,000 on hand to pay for it, fine. But if you want to do it in installments, we can take that too. Why? Because you're still going to get the thing. You're still going to get it in your home. So I'm beginning to create some beautiful work here. One is called Solar Dreams. That's one category. Another category is called Ancient Guardians. And these are the ancient guardians that walk the face of the earth. Some right here in the Americas, North, Central, and South America. Some from Africa. Some they walked in Europe. I've got now some of the oldest ones here who are connected into the Great Central Sun, and others connected into Atlantis. It's coming. And I'm beginning to share all of this, and this is a blessing to receive it. And then there's going to be some other things that are going to go with this. I'm going to create some meditation CDs now that I've got a quartz crystal singing bowl, root chakra C, and some tuning forks. I'm going to be able to create some soundtracks here, some meditations that will assist you in opening up to the greater divinity within yourself. That's what this is about, so that you can move to higher states of awareness at your own pace. See, we're not supposed to be moving like fish in the sea to everyone's pace, because everyone is on their own frequency. Now, there are some people that you're going to share a frequency with. You're definitely going to be on the same frequency with a lot of people, whether you're doing pranic healing, Reiki, you name it. There are going to be some people that you match. When you find those people that you resonate with, those are the people you need to be executing your information with and putting it out there. So this is why I put together the Circle of Grace 1 in the Age of Remembrance Closed Facebook page, and the twin flame to that, which is Friends of Circle of Grace 1. The whole idea is to get you thinking and moving and feeling. That means if you got a picture about a gemstone or crystal, you could place it on both. If you got a piece of poetry inside, you want to share it, do it. A spiritual essay. The only thing we're not talking about is politics or religion in that sense. We're not talking about religion or politics. It's a spiritual website. That's what these things are. And I want people to express their divinity. This is important. I'm not one of the teachers that say, okay, I got all the answers and you don't have any. We all got answers. We all have skills. We all have a prayer, a decree on our tongue we need to release. So know that you're going to be blessing the people in those two groups that I have, as well as blessing yourself. That's the commercial that I wanted to bring to you. So let's go into a meditation. Let me get a little water to sip here. This is going to be a planetary healing meditation. So let me drop this in here. Planetary healing meditation that we're going to do right now. And the symbol that we're going to use, Spirit just gave a spool of yarn. Is a spool of yarn, more like a ball of yarn. And this ball of yarn is gold and white. And that's on the surface. Okay? But within, I'm going to say here, but underneath, is a rainbow of colors. Now, so what I want you to begin to do is take your 3 or 4 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you have a sound mechanism around you, like I have a tuning fork here, you got maybe a quartz crystal ball. I have one of them. I don't have it next to me. Next time I'll have it sitting here next to me so we can hear it. I know you can hear that. If you can hear that, just say yay, yes, or put the number 1 in that you got it. that you can hear it. And what I want you to realize is that you're in a consciousness, a universal consciousness of awareness. We were talking about awareness and remembrance. So now we're going to put it into motion in this planetary healing meditation. As you begin to put this in, what you're going to now do is you're going to allow yourself to first receive. And as you allow yourself to receive, now what I want you to do, isn't that interesting? You saw 1111. Yes, all these vibrations are coming, you see. As they say, these are binary codes. You know, computers 1110010, all of that. Now we're seeing these other things. So that means that we have a system that is that we're tuning ourselves to. So now what's going to happen is if you take this just thought of envisioning in front of you a spool of yarn, a big ball of yarn. And this big ball of yarn has gold and white thread on the outside, like in braids. We're not counting the layers or the amount of time it takes to get down to that rainbow color. But just know that at some point on the braid of the gold and white, you will begin to see the colors of the rainbow. And I want you to take this, and it's like you can carry this big ball. And the thread is thin enough so that you won't run out. And I want you to envision seeing yourself meeting the right person to start it with. And you don't have to snip or cut the rope. You're just letting everybody that you come in touch with to hold the rope. They can hold it in both hands or one hand. And the rope has a little slack in it, just enough of slack in it. You're just going to the next person. And as you go, you notice that everybody that gets an opportunity because of you is enjoying and embracing and receiving and desiring to receive, desiring to touch this cord. What you're going to notice and feel is that as you get deeper into the maze, deeper into the crowds of people, no matter where they are, they could be sitting up high on a balcony, they could be in the courtyard of their backyard, they could be on a beach, they could be mountain climbing, and they're taking some of that thread with them. You could pass the ball, and they're passing the ball of thread around with the mountain climbers, and it's coming back to you, and you're just going. I see in my mind people in a hot air balloon, so I'm giving them enough, 2 or 3 of them, they have enough. But now what it means is they're close. There's enough there where the balloon's almost touching the hot air balloon, so they have to remain a sense of closeness. People out on a cruise ship have this yarn. People on a military ship even have the yarn. Everybody's involved. Nobody's left out. Even those in the bunker, they got it too. But you, distinctly, you initiated this. And this string, these strings are a communication, lines of communication. So as lines of communication, you're seeing the effect the minute the person touches the string. Because you're the first one that has it. In other words, everybody gets to touch the ball of yarn. And as they all touch the ball of yarn, They're seeing the string part that they're supposed to take. And everybody is touching the ball. Everybody. Get a little further, you notice there are certain animals around. Birds, mammals in the water, birds, everything. Everything is alive and well because it's seeing you share this string. It started as a golden white braided string. And at some point, it turned into rainbow colors. Now, the rainbow colors might be individual, one behind the other, but eventually all the threads are of a rainbow color. You just see it go around, go around, go around. Well, eventually, you come back to where you began. And you notice for miles that ball of yarn stretched all the way around the globe and then some. It touched, you were able to touch every one of the 7 continents and all of the islands and all of the mountains, all of the valleys, all of the tropical lands. You found someone there who needed that ribbon, that cord of light, that yarn of light. No one was left out. And you're realizing you're transforming lives, and what? Because people are holding these cords of color. And what is happening is that they have to communicate. They have to communicate with each other. They have to talk to each other. That's the beauty. They have to talk to each other, right? So now as they're talking to each other, they're establishing communication with each other, and it's clear. And they're beginning to find out that they are similar. They have the same things in common, be they single or married people. They have the same things in common, that they are connecting with like-minded people, people that they didn't even know before. That's what this ball of yarn is about. The spool of yarn. Everybody has a piece of it. It may look pretty to some and not pretty to others, but they have something to talk about, to share. And what you've noticed, you've heard that many are making things, making projects, tying beautiful knots together, and unraveling the knots together, untying. But you see this connection. Everybody coming together as one mind, one heart. In fact, a lot of their differences were settled because of the colorful string that they received. Especially if their children are involved. Children want to see the love and the harmony anyway, and the fun that comes out of it. But now you've ran to your last piece. You had the initial piece. Remember, you were the one walking with the ball, passing it to everybody. This infinite cord of light. Now, you want to tie the strings together. So whoever is to your right or to your left, next to the, see, you're standing next to the last person. You are the first and the last at the same time. But now, you're that last piece. You got to give just enough in the last couple of people so that there's enough to tie to you. But it has to tie them to you. And then you begin to see every face around you impacted by this cord of light, by this ball of light, yarn, that brought them together, simply to be together, to work something out together, to communicate, to talk to each other. This is the beauty of the ball of yarn, that you were able to share this ball of yarn with other like-minded people. This ball of yarn is symbolizing the planet. Everybody had to touch some part of that cord. So what was the gold and white about? The gold and white was pure intention, pure thought, pure intention, pure feeling. Setting out to do a goal, to touch the world with who I am. And at some point, all the little threads of the rainbow appeared in the cords of light and life and energy. And it didn't run out. The planet has everything here for us. There's a planet of abundance and prosperity. There's no need for anybody to steal from someone, to hurt someone, to get more. Because there is more. Nobody's running out of anything. No one needs to hoard for themselves. They need to just share. So in this journey, planetary healing journey, meditation is about every person touches something connected to someone else. And there's healing that takes place. We're all healing each other. So as you begin to take this into mind, that you are healing each other, that you're bringing yourself to the point of healing each other. I want you to say to yourself, and this is going to be for others that watch this later, whether they watch it here within the next month or see it over at my YouTube channel within about an hour after it's off. I want you to think about whose life are you touching today? This week, whose life did you touch? Did you impact? And who came around to impact you? Did someone come and impact your life? Think of the concept, planetary healing, the ball of yarn that you share. Yarn is your wisdom. Your wisdom that has transformed your life. Your understanding that has transformed your life. When you begin to think about that, especially when you get to elders, you begin to think, wow, I've got this elder around my life and they know so much. What do I know? Follow the page of an elder. Share. 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 And more share. The beauty is that you have everything that you've always wanted to have, but it's already there. You're just bringing it out more. You're just bringing it to the forefront of yourself. Every golden opportunity is presenting itself to you and for you. This is I always joke around and say on my sites, tag, you're it. The universe is tagging you. The universe is saying, I need you to do it now. And as we do these things, we don't have to, you can impress somebody with what you know, but you don't have to force anything on anybody. All you got to do is just live. But if you allow yourself to just live, if you allow yourself to just live. My late mother used to tell me, she used to say, Francis, just keep on living. You keep on living, you keep on learning. You know, she was right. She said that when she was in her 50s. I'm in my 60s saying that. Just keep on living. Keep on breathing. Keep on doing. Do for yourself and then do for others like you would do for yourself. You know, it was like the other day. This is like spreading the yarn. I don't wait for when the spirit strikes. I don't wait for a person to, if I see a homeless person, I don't wait for that homeless person to approach me. If I see them, and I see them on a regular basis, I will kind of reach out to them. When I reach out to them, I'll ask them, "Do you need anything?" Usually, most because I'm asking out of love, and some will ask me for 50 cents, and I do my best to give them more than 50 cents. In fact, I don't double it every more. I give them more than what they ask for. So, a person asks me for 50 cents, I don't give them 50 cents. I give them $1. If they ask me for a quarter, I'll give them $1. If they ask me for 50 cents or a quarter, I give them $1. Sometimes I give them $2. Sometimes I give them three. Sometimes I give them five. I pass them on a corner. I don't have it right then and there. I'm doing some shopping, and I come back, and if they're there, and I'm preparing my mind ahead of time, if I see them, I might give them $3. I might give them $5, but I'm certainly not giving them 50 cents. Why? Because I was blessed. Not that I lived homeless, but I remember growing up and we lost our home. We didn't become homeless, but we lost our home. So that's in my mind. Give while I can give. So I'm going to leave that as a thought here. Anybody listening to this show, I know my good friend Marie here is listening, so I'll see you tomorrow. But you and Mike are like this. You give what you have when you can. There are many people who have 10,000 times more than what we have, and they don't give anything. Then there's some people who will go out and stand at an establishment. I saw this guy on their particular show, and I think that was honorable, very nice. They went to it was in Charlotte where they live. They went to Popeye's Chicken, and they went inside. This was beautiful for them. They went inside, and people coming up to the establishment, you're normally going to buy something, but they went there, and they probably had said it before, free meals. But it's just a beauty to see somebody go in and say, "Look, today, between such and such and such and such a time, anybody coming in here who's going to sit and have a meal, we're paying for it." Now, I haven't been able to do something to that magnitude, but since I've been here in Albuquerque, there was a gentleman one time who um, he was clean as he could be clean, but he couldn't go any place to eat. And what I did for him, I told him, "I want you to sit right here." There was a little bench outside the place, not directly in front of the place, because sometimes you have people sitting in there might want to come and disturb them. I didn't want this person to be disturbed at all. So what I did was I sat them in front of the place, and I says, "I want you to wait right here." And I went inside and I got them a meal. Got them a meal, and I mean a nice spread, even dessert on the side, because I knew they were hungry. I even paid for someone's meal one time in a bus fare because I knew that they needed to get somewhere. So it's all about giving. See, we are wealthier than what we can imagine. You may not have the yacht, fancy cars yet, but you're wealthy. You're wealthy enough where you can sacrifice and give of something of yourself to someone else. I used to do it when I lived in Jersey too. Around the holidays, Christmas time, just giving like the yarn, the ball of yarn. I remember I passed a guy, and he didn't have any much of anything. All year round, he would be out there, and I was always taking my sweaters and my pants and my socks after I cleaned them. I would take them to the Salvation Army, and I saw this guy. He had a basket. He had a basket, and he was hovering inside where you couldn't see him. I said, "You know what I'm gonna do? If he is still there, I'm gonna drop off these sweaters, and these pants. And guess what? I'm going to give him a belt. 2 belts. I even left him some underwear. New. So he didn't have to sit there. Yeah, I know it was difficult. But it was more difficult for me to see him in the condition that he was in. So it made me remember maybe in a past life I was in one of those conditions. So I did what I could. This guy will show you that sometimes people assume that, oh, they're this, they're that. This guy had a heart of gold. Do you know? I came back later, next day. He was with another guy. And he was giving that guy 1 or 2 sweaters and a pack of underwear and a pack of socks. Sharing. So we have it in us to create this chain reaction, this domino effect, where love can go all over the planet. Let us place ourselves in position to not just plant the seed, but cultivate it for love, unconditional love, to flow all over the planet. Giving of ourselves in a way that is helpful to others. We're not going to save the whole world, but if each one of us gave something, that's one less person wanting for something. And at the same time, you're creating a domino effect throughout the universe. Because here you are in this particular zone, this particular matrix, and somewhere else in another zone outside of this earth is another part of you doing something else, even better. So that's to say that you're cleaning your karmic slate here. Several generations behind you, several generations in front of you, and then across the board. Now you got a whole new concept across the board. Meaning you're connecting with all those other connections, all those other extensions connected to you on the parallel universes. You're doing something in harmony with all those other parts of yourself and creating a full maximum benefit across the galaxy. Different realms of consciousness. This is an amazing time. Why not give in a way with that thought in mind that what I'm about to do today for this person, man or woman, that is homeless. My intention is that even in the higher ethers or the lower echelons of life, there is the same thing, the same givingness, the same balance, the same unconditional love that's going out and creating restoration in the world and transcendence in the world. So even in this moment, people say, okay, this is a retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and it's going to be like this all the way up until maybe June the 22nd. Well, while we're in the retrograde, here's another way to look at the retrograde. The planet didn't really stop. Its movement slowed down a tad, and other planets are catching up with it. It didn't really stop. What's really going on is the electromagnetic flow at a certain time of the year, or certain so many billions of years, cosmic years, day or cosmic days, slows down. Just like the high and the low tides. So we're seeing high tides and low tides going on this earth from the moon, the magnetism of the moon into the earth, also the solar magnetism has its interplay. Then it stands a good chance, and I'm going to say it stands a good law, an understanding of the spiritual laws, that These high and low ebbs are electromagnetic waves that are giving the feeling of something slowing down. Nothing stopped. Everything is still in motion. Nothing is stopped. Everything is what? In motion. So if nothing is stopping and everything is in motion, that means what? We're all in motion. And it comes to the point where the energy slows up and it appears to have stopped. But it's still in motion because everything around it is in motion. It just had to catch up to it. We're never without a source of communication. That is called yourself. You're never without a feeling of love, which comes from yourself. You're never without a feeling of just knowing and understanding who you really are, because that is of yourself. We're always seeking to identify a greater connection with the source that is greater than ourselves. This is something that we are doing all the time. We just have to allow ourselves to do what? To be free in that moment. That's all we have to do. If we allow ourselves to be free in that moment, we'll be free in every moment. If we allow ourselves to be free in that moment, in this moment, we'll be free in every moment. See, we can't do anything else. We can't fail. We're not going to fail. We don't know what failure is. What we have come to understand is this, is that all of us can connect at will. All of us can connect at will. Now, if we know that we can connect at will, whose will is it? Not Will Smith. Will, I will, or the law. We're connecting with law. We're connecting with universal law at will. We're in alignment at will. We're tuning ourselves at will. So let me just take this back a little bit. We are at this point in our lives where we are knowing who we have become, and we know that we're moving up higher. It's taken us so many years and months to transform. Now we're going to transcend. We're going to go beyond this form. Let me repeat that. It has taken us so many years to get to a point of restoration, regeneration, I will say purification, restoration, no, purification, regeneration, restoration, transformation, to do what? Transcend. When we can get to that point where we're about to transcend, that means everything has been flattened out. Everything has been introduced or reintroduced unto itself, into itself. Greater harmony and greater balance is in place. So we can't do anything but move forward and evolve. And what evolves us is love. Love is the thing that evolves us, because we're giving, that's energy that we're giving off. That's changing us. But it's not the mushy love that's changing us. It's the love of the divine that's changing us. It is the love of the divine that is changing us. In other words, we're honoring and respecting our own divinity, and we're seeing that divinity reflected in everything else and everyone else around us, and everyone else around us is seeing themselves reflected in us. So there's this one big dance that's going on. And when this one big dance is going on, it's putting us in a position where we are feeling oneness. When we are feeling the sense of oneness, it means all things are one and the same. They just appear to be different, but they're all one and the same. We are coming to a point now. It's 6:56 p.m. We've been on what? Now this is going to be 4 more minutes. It's going to be about 90-minute show, and I'm going to squirrel this down a little bit. No pun intended for squirrels. But we're going to bring us into this state of awareness. So, and remembrance again. I feel this other desire to leave with affirmative prayer and a decree, so you can receive this like a meditation if you like. Again, if you'd like to be in touch with me, you could always call my Skype number, which is 505-349-4722, or my other number that's also connected like my Skype. This second number is connected to my computer. It's 505-717-4722. That's the one that has a 2-minute all-purpose prayer and decree on it, and then you can leave your message. You can email me at iam.circleofgrace1@yahoo.com or iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. I want to let you know I'll be here next Wednesday, not here, next Thursday. Will be here for Circle of Grace 1 Ustream. Circle of Grace 1 in the Age of Remembrance. Try to get here at 5. A lot of energy rolling. Next Wednesday at 4 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio, the Age of Remembrance channel, which is Circle of Grace 1 in the Age of Remembrance right over there as well. So you get a chance to get the radio format and on every Wednesday for 30 minutes, and then we come here for at least 75, 90 minutes to 120 minutes for the Circle of Grace 1 in the Age of Remembrance live video stream. So I have a spirit of Atenat with me right now. And the Angel of Grace, I can feel their energies very strongly. And as these energies begin to trickle down to me, I'm going to say this affirmation on your behalf. So you could come back here and replay it, watch this show within the next, before 30 days is up, or wait to about 1 hour later. And this show will be at www.youtube.com /USER Circle of Grace with the number 1 right after the letter E, written out almost as one word, capital C and capital G, and you can replay it right there. It's for as many times you want. All my previous shows are there, even the ones I did back in 2009, right here at Ustream are there as well. So Aten has given me the go-ahead, along with the Angel of Grace, to give this affirmation, which is also a decree and a meditation. And we start this, as I am a meditant, is how he likes to call me. We're starting this like this through divine power, by divine grace. I now affirm that all the information that I'm receiving here acts as a seed and blossoms into my life. The soil, the rich soil of my consciousness is rich enough, I affirm, the soil of my consciousness is rich enough that any thought that I put there that is positive shall bloom. And he says to finalize it with, I see and decree that this is true. Next, because we're channeling this, none of this is being written down by me. I affirm that all things that I come in touch with and all people that I come in touch with, I influence with the goodness that's inherent in me, that is with me. I affirm and know that I am one with everything that is living. I affirm that I'm one with everything that is being in the state of God consciousness right now. And I affirm and I decree that this is true. Last affirmation. I affirm that right at this very moment, I am aware and I remember my divinity. I affirm that right now, in this very moment, I am aware and I remember my divinity. I see and decree that my awareness is intact. I see and decree that my remembrance is intact. I see and decree that all things that I understand are true. I see and decree that every word that I hear, every word that is spoken to me that speaks deeply into my heart, grows and blossoms my divinity, expands my divinity, creates wholeness in my life, wellness in my life. I'm no longer living on what they call borrowed time. I'm living on my time, which is divine and it's infinite. I affirm here and now that I have already decreed this to be true, and that all life within me is truth, personified as oneness, as unconditional love, as beauty and sacred harmony. I know that I know that I know that I am that I am that I am, and I decree that to be true as well. I know that all shall be well. I know, because I am. I know because I am. I see and decree that I know because I am. I see and decree that I know because I am. I am aware that I am, and I remember that I am that I am. Therefore, I know that I am that I am. I see and decree it to be true. And one last one. I am infinite, unconditional love, compassion, and divine grace. So be it, and so it is, as I am. I got a tingling sensation, so I know that's it. I want to thank you for joining me, and whether you get a chance to see this a little later or you replay it, know that you can see it here within the next 30 days. The minute I go off, it'll be here. But understand, with this special account, anything beyond 30 days will get deleted. So what I do is I automatically, at the end of every show, upload it. So that is on my longtime YouTube channel. So all you got to do is go later on tonight to www.youtube.com /USER Circle of Grace 1 with no hyphens in between it. Circle of Grace 1. And you can see this sitting there. I want to thank you so much for being here. My grace is your grace. This is a glorious ride. We're never going to let anything interrupt that ride so that you can be blessed at all points. I'll be here next Thursday. I plan to be here next Thursday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for at least 75 minutes, maximum 2 hours. We're going to do something uniquely different. What we're going to talk about is the power of humility versus weakness. Now, we're going to talk about that in the first 20 or 30 minutes of the show, because next Wednesday on my Blog Talk Radio show at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, that's the subject matter. Humility versus weakness. We're going to understand that humility is never a weakness. Humility is a bad mamma jamma. That if you understand that how to be humble and the power of humility in everything that you do, not just unconditional love, not just forgiveness, but the power of humility. If you could get that down pat, you watch. You're going to become even more magnetic. You're going to always have some change, as they say, in your pocket, because you've changed yourself. But we'll talk about that in the first 30 minutes of next week's live video stream, but you'll hear the introductory parts of it on my Blog Talk Radio next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Eastern. But you come here next Thursday, 5 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live video stream, Circle Grace 1 with myself, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey, and get this information. In the meantime, I'm putting together some CD audios. I'm planning some of those. I'm also planning to put together, as soon as I get the streams down just right, some DVD material so that you can get this information and get it as a package deal. I've decided to take my institute, which at one point was costing about over 2-3 year stretch. It was coming out to pretty close to $6,000-7,000, and I've broken it down since then. I want to make it so that you get it. I want to make it so that if all you could spend was $100 a month, you could learn it all in 18 months or less. I'm already teaching the 5th level, which is mentoring masters. That means everybody's coming to me is already a master in what they do. Master martial artist, master Qigong healer, master pranic healing, master Reiki, master in numerology, tarot, all this stuff. But I'm teaching the mastermind how to become more of a master, how to accept who they really are. That's mentoring masters, and that was in itself was a 6-month program. But Akhenaten said we got to get it out faster. So the last 5 years, it's been in operation since 2009. The last 2 to 3 years, we've been doing that 5th level first. So I'm going to restructure it so it's all incorporated. 5 different levels, 40 different subject matters or more. It's going to be presented. When I was teaching at $225 a day, I did live seminars, webinars, 3 hours straight out talking every other Saturday. I'm prepared to do it again, but do it a different way. Make sure you still get the information, still get the material, open the door to everybody, so everybody can get it at whatever level that they are at financially. Everybody can get the information. Everybody will get introductory levels for sure. Everybody can get intermediate and master levels for sure. Nobody will be left out. I want everybody to get the information. So I'm going to leave that thought with you. And now as I get that 5-level course more compacted, into maybe 3 levels. We're going to get it out there so that you can learn it and get you to do what you need to do for you so that you can exercise more things for you so that you can help the planet. I'm just your anchor. I'm your teacher and your anchor. I'm here to anchor you so that you can go do what you got to do. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. Thank you for being here, for being supportive. I'm here whether it's a one-person audience to a 1,000-person audience. I'm going to still teach with the same fervor and excitement. Thank you again. I look forward to sharing this information as time develops and presents itself. We're going to get all this information out to everybody on the planet. I'll be here next Thursday, right here for Ustream for the Circle Grace channel, Circle Grace 1 channel, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. If you're listening to Blog Talk Radio, that's on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Eastern. Our call-in number is 347-677-0851. We had the numbers mixed up yesterday, but we got them right tonight. There's no call-in number here, but there's a live chat that you can participate in and ask your questions or send me a private inbox message on Facebook, and I'll get it right on my mobile phone, and we'll answer your question just the same. See you next week. Thank you so much. My grace is your grace. And again, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you soon.